In the wake of the last legislative session, the money came rolling in.
I mean, my eyes popped out of my head when I saw that our budget had jumped from 7 million to 10 million. I was like, I actually said this. I said, am I looking at this? Am I reading this right?
Making good on Governor Lombardo's commitment to better fund education, lawmakers ensured schools throughout the state saw their designated dollars rise, increasing Nevada's average per-student funding to lift our state out of near last place in the nation.
Edison, do you want to read to us?
But parents Amanda Stevens and Jeremy Herman say all that glitters is not gold. Both are school organizational team, or SOT members.
At first blush, that seems like great news. But the truth is, when you do some digging, you realize that it's not as good as it sounds.
13 Investigates did that digging, and here's what we learned. The Nevada legislature provides funding for a certain number of teachers at each school, depending on the student population.
Does everybody know what this is?
Yes.
Yeah. What?
A brain. It's a brain.
At Deskin Elementary, where Amanda is on the SOT,
We don't have a teacher, and my daughter's in kindergarten. We have a substitute.
CCSD currently has 1,151 licensed teacher vacancies. For every unfilled teaching spot, schools have extra money.
There's a teacher shortage. We can't get qualified teachers in the classroom.
Nevada Senator Scott Hammond is on the Senate Education Committee. In this year's session, he helped pass new legislation allowing schools to carry over up to 5% of their budget to the next school year. As for the rest, the condition is use it or lose it. When they lose it, what happens to it?
Yeah, and first of all, I don't really love the use it or lose it mentality.
That's because he says it's not easy to spend lots of money quickly, whether it's getting purchase orders processed or waiting for bids to be approved.
Just to get permission to spend that money, the bureaucratic process takes too long.
Aside from the small percentage of money they're allowed to carry over, any unspent money in a school's budget has to be sent back to the state's Education Stabilization Fund, a pot of money that goes to the entire state and is essentially used like a rainy day fund. Because schools don't want to lose any of the money in their budget, they end up spending as much as they can on whatever they can.
They're forced to go on a shopping spree.
Jeremy's children attend Leavitt Middle School and Deskin Elementary. He serves on the SOT at both.
We have a wish list that includes, I think it was 6 teachers at our middle school, and our elementary school is somewhere around there, 5 or 6. And those teachers aren't there to be hired. So then we go down the list and we start shopping for other people who are important for the functioning of the school, but who are not quite as essential.
13 Investigates combed through school organizational team minutes across the district and found money building up in budgets under the general supplies line item. Judith Steele Elementary School sought minutes from September 14th, showed a discussion on how their extra money could be spent, including diversity programs and support of English language learners. Minutes from Leavitt's September SOT meeting show most of the extra money in their budget will go towards salaries for additional administrative and support staff positions.
And then, after we hire those 5 or 6 people, we still have all this extra money. So we start painting the school. We start, building an awning to protect kids from the sun. And then we still have like $1.5 million we have to spend.
They'll spend about $600,000 of that on new classroom desks.
Kids have to wear lanyards with their IDs on them, and they're in some cases being used to choke the kids. So we talked about investing in the lanyards that break apart.
They also discussed buying a shipping container and filling it with a decade's worth of supplies.
Reams and reams and reams of paper. All sorts of other stuff that's not going to
And that was a serious discussion.
Serious discussion.
A shipping container.
Buying a shipping container, putting a portable air conditioning unit in it so that it's not 1,000,000 degrees out there in the sun.
Money will also fund free tutoring, after-school programs, and sports. All things Jeremy supports and agrees are beneficial, but ultimately not essential. What was the analogy your principal used to describe what this looks like?
He said that he feels like he's got a car that's got blinged out rims, it's got a killer sound system, but the engine is dead, and he can't do anything about that engine. So his top priority is getting that engine going by getting more teachers in the classroom, but it can't happen. So he's spending money on blinging out the school.
We reached out to district leaders to ask if they had anything to say about the carryover money. They did not respond. Hammond says he knows it might not look good. When you look at the totality of the district, there are so many millions of dollars that these schools are trying to figure out how to spend, yet they can't spend it on the one thing they need most. How do we explain that to our viewers?
Yeah, well, and the one thing that they need most is teachers.
But since the teachers simply aren't there, state leaders must continue trying to solve the problem.
Nevada State University, UNLV, you name it, the governor is busy trying to figure out how to create a pipeline so we can get more people into that profession.
A former teacher himself, Hammond says better salaries would bring more people to the teaching profession, further causing frustration that the money sitting in school coffers can't be used for teacher salaries and raises. Jeremy says if they were able to give every teacher at Leavitt a 10% raise.
You're talking about less than a quarter of the extra money that we're getting. So the money is there. The money is in schools. It just can't legally be spent on those teachers.
Because of collective bargaining, principals can't spread the carryover money among the teachers at their individual schools, at least not now. Hammond says lawmakers could change that.
That would be a nice piece of legislation for the next upcoming legislative session to give the freedom to those administrators to incentivize teachers.
The optics are terrible for the school district. I think it's at a time when the district is fighting teachers on this and the state is throwing money at schools. It doesn't look good. And I understand the anger. Like I said, I'm angry as a parent that it's happening.
In the meantime,
You have to think.
the parents we spoke to will do their best to fill the gaps. Darcy Spears,
Who has muscles?
Everyone.
13 Investigates.